materialism, this is a spiritual thing. They gave themselves up to lamentation and dancing in hymns. Next. Finally, they placed the body on a regal funeral pyre. And here comes some more anthropomorphism and mythology that I'm not going to bother with. Charred bones alone were left. Ugly. Many people and communities asked for these relics.
Wow.
That paragraph.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
But the truest memorial to the Blessed One capitalized, as an elder disciple said to the multitude at the funeral pyre, was the truth he taught, which cleanses people and leads them to bliss. And what was the truth? Rise above. Self. Have nothing to do with evil. Extinguish sickness, decay of age and death. Rise above them all. We can, we have, and he did. We move on to a new angle. In India, the Buddhist faith grew and spread, but it failed to develop the strength to stand against the Hinduism, which had been the original religion from which the Buddha sprang. The Brahmins never ceased claiming the seer Siddhartha as one of their own. After a dozen centuries, they were able to reabsorb Buddhist doctrines into their own creed and to install the Buddha who had spoken against deification. Yes, and he was right to do that. Into their elastic gallery of gods as an incarnation of Vishnu. And so we finish page 73. See it? End of what? It's the end of the person. Siddhartha. Go tell them. We all come to an end. The doctrine lives on. The bliss, the teaching, the helpfulness, the happiness. They all live on. And we rejoice. I know that. See no evil, hear no evil. Speak no evil, think no evil, and do no evil. Thus, one of the purest and profoundest of philosophies, one which through a millennium attracted the doctrine of nobles and kings and serfs, wealthy and poor, and God they included us.
They mention you quite often.
Sage and illiterate.
They know you very well.
Ran a brilliant course, and then was extinguished in the land of its origin. Certain of the Buddhist doctrines profoundly influenced the Brahmin faith. Nevertheless, the whole of the Brahmin priests, upon the people, the popular love of ceremonial and belief in sacrifice.
Somebody mentioned my name.
And the shrewd manipulation of the caste system determined that Buddhism should be stamped out,
Her name is Kathleen.
except as part of its philosophy might be merged with Vedantic wisdom. Shame on you people.
Oh, yeah, she said, well, why didn't Brain go?
You're not supposed to think of evil. Oh.
What's the answer to that?
The period of Buddhist ascendancy in India was the 5 or 6 centuries after Ashoka's reign.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
It wouldn't have been a good match.
It was just before the middle of the 3rd century BC that the youthful emperor Ashoka was converted. True to the pacifism proclaimed by the Buddha, he renounced war, good, and tried to repair the injuries done to countless people in earlier campaigns. His armies had just slaughtered 100,000 persons. In one of the most remarkable of state edicts, he proclaimed righteousness, love, toleration, and non-interference as the cornerposts of his kingdom. Called on his subjects to refrain from violence, passion, evil thought.
I didn't think that.
Oh, nice. And
I
envy.
didn't think I was.
Let us carry on for him, folks. Let us refrain from violence, passion, evil thought, and envy. And he made clear that he had vowed to live and to rule in righteousness.
Maybe it's somebody that I know or something.
I'm going to go with it. For bad luxury, yes.
Her husband just died last month.
And waste
Yeah, he was
in his own palace. Though it is doubtful how far beyond his own apartment the prohibitions operated. He forbade sacrifices, yes,
But,
and urged his subjects to have compassion toward every living being.
and he fought in the Hungarian
He urged his subjects to have compassion toward every living thing.
so hopeless.
I'm going to follow everything that he listed. He asked his people to foster the personal virtues of self-restraint, cheerfulness, there we are, folks, happiness, rapture, cheerfulness, ecstasy, exuberation, exhilaration, exuberance, cheerfulness, gentleness, and upright living. Oh, underline that. Highlight that with yellow. Remember, this is page 74. But above all, he emphasized his own abjuring of war.
Oh, wait with me on June 7th and 8th?
War being the greatest curse of civilization. How can you have war and civilization simultaneously? If you have war, you don't have civilization. If you have civilization, you don't have war. Producing more of people's suffering and unhappiness than all other causes together.
Anyway, the class
He admonished in a rock-cut edict his sons and their sons to abstain from war, saying that moral or religious conquest is the only defensible sort of conquest. He urged upon his descendant rulers, too, forgiveness, forbearance, and leniency in punishment. Already, he said, quote, the sounding of the war drum serves as a summons not to battle, but to righteousness, unquote. End, page 74. Although the edict inform us of Ashoka's own intentions to follow the path even to the attainment of Arahata, his injunctions are almost wholly upon the ethical side. He promises that compliance will bring his subjects happiness in this world and in paradise. Well, he's right. But that is the only mention of the future state. Well, remember, we're staying in the present. Nevertheless, he did more than any other to spread the faith into other lands in its purest mystical form. Purest mystical form.
We've been out of college 60 years. And the reunion, I asked the reunion office about it several times, and I never got back to me. So finally, I wrote to the president of the college.
He sent emissaries in all directions, wisely charging them to dispense not only the Buddhist doctrine, but such blessings as medical science. His own son went as a missionary to Ceylon, where Buddhism remains today, overwhelmingly the religion of the people. Other lands that accepted the faith and still harbor great numbers of adherents are Tibet, Burma, China, and Japan. Ahsoka ruled for nearly 40 years, and Buddhism seemed destined to become the light of India. But his sons and grandsons failed to remember the admonitions against war and luxury and conquest. And the Brahmins began their gradual centuries-long drive to recapture the loyalty of the people. Eventually, the Buddhist doctrines, the shrines and monasteries in India were taken over or neglected. Ahsoka's dream of a pacifist state supported by subjects in the Eightfold Path of Virtue, with their eyes upon the bliss of Nirvana. Faded from the world, India was not ready for so stern, so austere a faith. I don't think it is stern, and I don't think it is austere. I think it's extremely comfortable. Noble service Buddhism rendered to Indian art is known to every student of sculpture and painting. The Buddhist holy books are among the world's foremost treasures of spiritual literature. Embedded in the sermon stories and verse are some of the most telling arguments for the mystic enrichment of life. That's a nice phrase to carry around today, folks. The mystic enrichment of life. In the whole range of religious literature, in the pages of the books produced in the two divisions of Buddhist development, there are innumerable noble passages dealing with the nature of Nirvana, the ways of attainment, and the relationship of life, karma, rebirth, and the ultimate ocean of bliss. Two chief historical schools of Buddhism are known as the Hinayana, the primitive or southern school, which grew directly out of the doctrine as interpreted by the disciples immediately after the death of the Buddha, and the Mahayana, the northern school, of somewhat later development and much wider spread. Hinayana and Mahayana mean the lesser vessel and the greater vessel, or as some translate the word, the lesser and greater vehicles, referring to the vessel or vehicle of salvation. So we have ended the bond.
It's going off by itself.
I love it. So I love it. I love it. Our mystic enrichment of life, the ways of attainment. We work on it and work on it and work on it and work on it, don't we, folks? And the more we work on it, the happier we are, and the happier we make it other.
Route E goes right down to 84.
Yes, go east on 84.
Here is page 76. Are in the Pali language as dialect, the Mahayana and Sanskrit. Beyond these treasures are those of the Chinese, the Tibetan, the Japanese, and other Buddhist bodies. In the nature of the faith, there is no one to say that such and such scriptures are canonical and others are apocryphal. The latest convert may add an acceptable if his vision of the truth is sufficiently clear and pure, and his spiritual and literary inspiration adequate.
The storms coming up at the home and the house, it'll be my mother isn't
the most eloquent point of Buddhism was probably in the first century of the Christian era,
come back home with a car and carry
5 centuries after the Buddha passed into Nirvana. Although the Buddhist faith is essentially one of joy, yes, I love that.
Bad weather, the ice and the walk and all that.
I love it.
She gives me a list.
Although the Buddhist faith is essentially one of joy, presuming a way of life purified of sorrow and illumined by the light of eternity, the logic of the teaching begins in the realization of human suffering. There is a story about the universality of suffering, the story of the mustard seed, which perfectly prefaces any summary of the Buddhist teachings. I'm going to skip that. Okay? And that brings us over to page 77.
Shopping centers and parking lots.
I just spoke to her of the transiency of all living things and of the one way in which there is emancipation from sorrow. We understand that. Gautami then, as the Buddhists say, entered into the stream that flows to the ocean of Nirvana. Going to another. Going life is transitory and impermanent. Desire and personal love and the pleasures of the self are transient and illusory.
You want to say May? I'll give you a quarter.
It is the beginning point of the cycle of thought of the heart of Buddhist philosophy.
These storms, they just keep on stacking it up. And then,
change, decay, exists, mortal life is a flow, of which the very nature is change. Sorrow results from attachment to the things that decay. Recognize, therefore, the cause of suffering. Attachment through desire, passion, selfish ambition, the craving to possess.
I think I got a minute's card the other day.
Seeing clearly then
About a week or so.
the existence
$20 minute's card I got.
and the causation.
And
One may go on
about 60
to remove
minutes, but I get
or
about
extinguish the cause.
2 hours because I have the double minutes on my.
The extinction is
The double minute.
at once
you want me to
a sort of bliss
I did.
and a deliverance into eternal rapture.
I bet you they're sorry they ever sold it.
Nice, isn't it? It's nice, isn't it?
It's got minutes on it now.
Very, very nice.
I haven't put time in my phone
Filling
in
in
a couple months, so
of this start
I put the $20 card on it.
outline.
So it costs you $20 a month?
I think it's
Maybe not even that much,
Oh,
because
beautiful.
I can get by with this for like a month and a half or 2 months.
Well, the books on philosophy,
never wrong.
which in the West have too often overlooked
Use it a whole lot, really. I try not to
the Buddha,
go on the phone and try to keep it quick.
Culture, and the other Oriental sages,
Keep the conversations quick and all that.
and not to a book on the mystics.
I try to
It is necessary only to recall briefly
keep it. I bring it
the
with me when I go
characteristics
places.
of the
I
faith.
come with me, and then I look at it, and I got the sound turned
as
all
they
the way up so
determine
that when
the
it rings, I
individual's
can
life
hear it.
on the way to emancipation and
A lot
illumination.
of times I
How you
go
coming
look at the
with
phone and see
emancipation,
like I
folks?
missed calls and all that, or somebody called up and I missed
Steady, isn't it? Every day.
It tells us that the number
Illumination
you have
steady,
dialed
isn't it? Every day.
is not set up
And to
yet.
ask, what is the mystic nature of nirvana? Well, the nature is happiness. The nature is living simply. The nature is renunciation. The nature is regimen of saintly eating.
But I'm sure it can, I
Like
can give
Hinduism or Brahmanism,
each month that I have to
this
average it out.
in the purest
It goes
form.
like,
This in the purest form, this in the purest form,
2 months or so.
is a religion
It's not
without God.
It's not,
That's good.
kind of like the bare minimum.
Without
of what I
priest.
need, pretty much.
That's good.
Look at the ice.
Or right.
Yeah.
That's good.
And so
No supreme deity is recognized. That's good. Or any supernatural or miraculous power. That's good. Except of the sort that every person may attain by exercise of his or her spiritual nature. That's right. That is nice. You can't be more democratic than that. Except of the sort that every person may attain by exercise of his or her
yeah, I do.
spiritual
Lots of fun.
nature. And so we do it.
Sure.
And so we exercise it. We're exercising it right this moment. The brothers of the Buddhist order, how about the sisters? They have no priestly authority. Right, that's great. That's great. Or,
This is water, if you need it.
The car breaks down.
Yeah.
we're looking for page 78.
I don't know if you like all of them, but I do. That's all.
More function, folks. That's good.
Walnuts, I told you.
This has been carried to the extreme.
Maybe it just goes and it looks like it's shutting off, but it's not.
No, it's running, honey.
Or is it?
Here, I'll hand it back to you.
All right, Hartford. Okay.
84 East, Greg.
That's what it says.
84 East.
necessary to the passing from worldliness into immortality. I am not concerned with immortality.
Would you be so kind to read the sign?
The average man, impelled by the Lord that is self, lives a life in slavery to senses, yes. But the self, the ego, like the senses, and their craving, is a part of the mortal existence. So we are getting rid of self. We are getting rid of ego. We are getting rid of senses in that way, and craving. Subject to change, illusory, to be denied. Okay, I think we have made the point often enough. In debate with a Brahmin who defended worship and sacrifice, the master said, quote, the sacrifice itself is more effective than the offering of books.
We got to find Garden Street. What's the other street? Garden Street.
The sacrifice of self is more effective than the offering of
We got
books.
to figure out which exit to take.
He who offers up his evil desires
It's not far
right.
from downtown, remember?
He's still no blood at the altar. Absolutely right.
Does Sergeant Street come first or Garden Street?
The cleaving to self
Yes,
is a continuous dying. Yes, it is.
Sergeant Street and Garden
Get rid of the self. Can we do better than we're doing? Yeah, we can try
I
harder.
went through town and
In fact,
saw the one street that I
you can get rid of self by thinking only of happiness.
Yeah, off of Albany Avenue, which is Route 44.
Instead of saying, I won't think of self, just say, all I'll think about is happiness. Then there's no room to think about self. The cleaving to self is a continuous dying. Existence in truth is a partaking of life. Yeah. Happiness in truth is a partaking of life. Unchanging. That ends page 78. I just don't want to get convoluted into these philosophies and these reasonings. Neither did they. I just want to think about happiness. Page 79. The Buddhist denial or discipline of self, insofar as it means escape from bondage to the senses. Okay. Bondage to desires, okay. Cravings, ego. Bondage to the senses. You know, God made things for the senses. Flowers that smell so sweet and are so beautiful in their colors and in their designs and in their shapes and in their symmetries and in their varieties. I don't think they mean that. We're all right. We're on the same wavelength. Is, of course, we are. It is a standard part of the groundwork for illumination. And illuminated we are. Equally, the Buddha discounted reason, yeah, we were just saying that, as other than a mortal, instrumental thing, as do the mystics in all ages. Quote, reason passes, but wisdom endures. He said, one must reason from a premise, but truth has neither beginning nor end. Happiness, you have neither beginning nor end. Buddhism agrees. Substantially with Hinduism, the Brahmin and the Buddhist teachings about karma, transmigrations are alike. Karma, yes, transmigrations. An issue. And there's the same emphasis upon the overwhelming importance of spiritual enlightenment. Yes.
That's where
As the first
the Indian puts on my show.
aim of human life.
Last year, Southern...
We've got the enlightenment. We just have to live it. See? It's happiness. And we just have to live happiness. doctrine of karma, or the law of cause and effect, as applied to human conduct, a recompense for good and evil action, beautiful, is of the very texture of both faiths. Both faiths, what are we talking about? Brahman and Buddha? I don't ever fight. A man's karma is his balance of righteousness and unrighteousness, of merit and demerit, according to universal law.
Nice, we have good
Check.
roads.
Is the resultant of his moral doing, the sum of his thoughts and deeds and their consequences. Yep. That's nice, they include thoughts. Thoughts and deeds and their consequences. People, and being evil or good, affect the whole... Play? No. We don't want to record. And it's on record. And it's on record.
It's still got juice, Greg. It's going.